Good day everyone, we are the group 2 and the topic that assigned to us is the architectural pattern of an animal. I am the first reporter and my name is Bedeo Arcelin Bolak. The appearance of major body plans. The Cambrian explosion earliest fossils appear of all major groups of living animals plus some groups that are only known from fossils. So, Cambrian explosions report on an interval of times approximately 541 million years ago. In the Cambrian period, when practically all major animal phyla started appearing in the fossils record. Hierarchical organization 5 levels. Protoplasmic grid of organization. Protists are the simplest eukaryotes, but they still carry out life function and show division of flavor among the various cell structures. So, protoplasmic grid of organization are all life functions are confined within the boundaries of a single cell. Within the cell, the protoplasm is differentiated into organelles, capable of carrying out specialized function. Next is metazoans. Metazoans are multicellular animals that have cells specialized for particular function. This is the cellular grid of organization. So metazoans comprise all animals having the body composed of cells differentiated into tissues and organs, and usually a digestive cavity lined with specialized cells. Next in hierarchical organization 5 levels is the cell tissue grid. Usually specialized cells are grouped together and perform their common function as a coordinated unit, a tissue. So cell tissue grid. In tissue grid of organization, the cell begin to function in a unified way to accomplish a task. Synergy usually considered to be at this level of organization and makes them advanced than the porifera. The examples of cell tissue grid is the jellyfish. And the next is tissue organ grid. Tissues are assembled into organs like the heart. Primarily muscles tissues, but connective, nervous and epithelia also present. Tissue organ grid. When two or more tissues work together for a specific function. For example, the bladder consists of an inner lining of epithelial tissue, bound by various connective tissues to smooth muscles. Another example is the flatworms. And the last is the organ system grid. In the highest level of organization, organ works together as organ systems like the circulatory system. Organ system grid. When organs work together to perform some function, circulation, respiration, production, digestion, etc., we have the grid of organization seen in all animals that evolved after the flatworms.
Hi everyone, my name is Jerry Karimata, the second reporter. Now I will going to discuss animal body plans. Body plans are constrained by ancestry. Major features may become modified but rarely lost. Animal body plans differ in their grid of organization, body symmetry, number of germ layers, and type of body cavity. Symmetry. Spherical symmetry occurs when any passing through the center divides the body into mirror image halves, mostly found among the protists. So, spherical symmetry is characterized by the ability to draw an endless, or great but finite, number of symmetry axes through the body. This means that a spherical symmetry occurs in organism if it is able to be cut into identical halves through any cut that runs through organism's center. Another is radial symmetry. Radial symmetry applies when more than planes passing through the longitudinal axis can divide the organism into mirror halves. Example, jellyfish. A form of symmetry in which identical parts are arranged in a circular fashion around a central axis. The property of symmetry about an axis, the starfish illustrates radial symmetry. Another is biradial symmetry. Biradial symmetry, two planes will divide the organism. Biradial symmetry is when organism can be divided up into equal parts, but only in two planes. It is different than radial symmetry, because two planes divide the organism, but not more two. Comb jellies are an example of an organism with biradial symmetry. Ragitarella. Ragitarella comprise of jellyfish, corals, and sea anemones. No front back, weak swimmers, can interact with environment in all directions. It is all major grouping that includes more or less radially symmetrical animals. That's all. The next reporter will going to continue the other part.
Hi everyone, I'm Christine Joy Parida, the third reporter. So this is the last part of symmetry. Bilateral symmetry is found in organisms where one plane can pass through the organism, dividing it into right and left halves. So whether for directional movement, monophyletic, called bilateral. Bilateral symmetry, it means that if we draw an imaginary line from the skull that divides the body into two equal halves, both halves possess one eye, one ear, one nostrils, and many other features, and they appear to be a mirror of each other. As you can see, we draw a line from anterior to posterior through the center of the body, dividing it into two equal halves. Here are also the examples of animals that possess bilateral symmetry. These are flatworms, clams, insects, spiders, brachiopods, crustaceans. Those are bilateral symmetry because it divided along a plane that splits the body into right and left sides that are mirror of each other. Cephalization. Bilateral symmetry is associated with cephalization, differentiation of a head. Nervous tissue, sense organs, and often the mouth are located in the head. Cephalization. Bilaterally symmetrical animals also have cephalization, which is the concentration of nerve and sensory tissue at the anterior end of the organism. So why is it the majority of animal life is cephalized? The formation of a brain, the concentration of sense organs towards the front of the body, and the near proximity of the mouth to the sense organs are all evolutionary advantages of these characteristics. Regions of a bilaterally symmetry animal. Theirs have anterior and posterior or transverse plane, dorsal and ventral or frontal plane, left and right or sagittal plane, proximal and distal and medial and lateral. Animals with bilateral symmetry have a head and tail or anterior versus posterior, front and back or dorsal versus ventral, and right and left sides. Anterior and posterior or transverse plane. So what is the difference between them? The distinction between anterior and posterior is simple and clear. Anterior refers to something that is near or towards the front, while posterior refers to something that is near or towards the back. Dorsal and ventral or frontal plane. Dorsal refers to the back of the body, while ventral refers to the front. So the stomach, for example, is ventral to the spinal cord, meaning it is placed to the front of the spinal cord. What plane divides the body into right and left? So it is a sagittal plane, or also known as the lateral plane. It is a vertical plane that runs from front to rear, dividing the body or any of its parts into right and left sides. Proximal and distal. Proximal and distal are medical terminology that describe how far the body part like shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, fingers, etc. is from the body center, which is usually the torso. In other words, when looking at the human body center, in example the torso, the shoulder is proximal or near to the torso than the elbow, which is farther away. Distal, on the other hand, might be conceived of as being far from or away from the body center.
Hi everyone, my name is IBM Mejos. I will going to discuss our topic that assigned to me, which is developmental patterns. When we say developmental patterns and milestones are certain skills like babbling, crawling, and reading that we expect to see a child learn to do as he or she grows into an adult. Each child age group has unique developmental milestones. Let's go on. Developmental pattern sponges develop until the blastole stage. They reorganize to form adult. Gastrulation allows animals to tissue-level organization. Diplobastic, the two germs layers. Triplobastic, three germs layers. Okay, let's go on to the body cavities. A body cavity is a fluid-filled space inside the body that holds and protects internal organs. Here's the examples of body cavities. Include the gut, the blastocoel, and the pseudocoel of coelom. The gut forms from the archenteron during gastrulation. The blastocoel persists in some, but usually fills with mesoderm. The last is pseudocoel and coelom are filled body cavities that cushion organs or provide support. Let's go to the last body cavities. In protozoans, mesoderm forms as endodermal cells from near the blastocoel. Here's the three body plans possible. The first is a coelomate, the no body cavity. The second is pseudocoelomate, the body cavity between endoderm and mesoderm. The last is coelomate, the body cavity surrounded by mesoderm. That is our topic that assigned to me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Fame Ispera. I will be the next to report. Body cavities. In protozoans, mesoderm form as endodermal cells from near the blastocoel. Body cavities vary among animals. The first one is a coelomate or the no body cavity. It is an invertebrate lacking a coelom, especially one belonging to the group comprising the flatworms and nematodes, and characterized by bilateral symmetry and digestive cavity that is the only internal cavity. The next one we have pseudocoelomate. It is an invertebrate such as nematode or rotifer having a body cavity that is pseudocoel. It is called pseudocoelomate because it is not fully lined by mesodermal cells as in the true coelomic cavity of vertebrates. And the third one is the coelomates. Body cavity surrounded by mesoderm. It have a body cavity called a coelom with a complete lining called peritoneum. Derived from mesoderm, most bilateral animals, including all the vertebrates, are coelomates. Coelomates have two types, the schizocoelos. Schizocoelos is a mesodermal cells fill the blastocoel, forming a solid band of tissue around the gut, then a space opens inside the mesodermal band. The next one is the intercoelos. It is a portion of gut lining form pocket that pinch off and form a ring on a mesoderm. And some animals have no body cavities or mesoderm, such as the sponge. No germ layers, no gut. and the cnidarians do have gut but no mesoderm. Other key features of body plans. In some organisms, the gut does not form a complete tube. Waste must come back out to the mouth. Food must be digested and waste expelled before eating again. A complete gut forms a tube within a body plan. We have segmentation. It is a serial repetition of similar body segments along the body. Each segment has a metamer or somate, may include external and internal components. Obscured in many animals like humans, permits greater body mobility and complexity of structure and function. The perfect example for this is the Annelida, Arthropoda, and Chordata. When we say segmentation or the metamerism, it is a serial repetition of similar body segments along longitudinal axis of the body. Each segment is a metaper, as I said earlier, and it has a greater mobility and complexity of structure and function. That's all. Thank you.
Components of metazoan bodies. Extracircular components consist of a network of substances secreted by cells. Most animal cells release materials into the extracircular space. The primary components of these materials are glycoproteins and the proteins collagen. Non-circular components of metazoan animals. Body fluids. Body fluids are considered to be the interstitial fluids, saliva, tears, and gastric juices. They moisten the tissues, muscles, and body organs and skin. In Chinese medicine, the production of these fluids is influenced by proper gastrointestinal function by the spleen and stomach. Body fluids are mainly water and electrolytes, and the three main organs that regulate fluids balance are the brain and adrenal glands and the kidneys. Extracircular matrix is an extensive molecule network composed of three major components. They have proteins, glycosaminoglycan, and glycoconjugate. ECM component as well as cells adhesion receptors interact with each other, forming a complex network into which cells reside in all tissues and organs. How proteins serve as structural components of the living cells. For examples, structural proteins maintain cell shape akin to a skeleton, and they compose structural elements and connective tissues like cartilage and bone and vertebrates. Enzymes are another type of protein, and this molecule catalyze the biochemical reactions that occurs in cells. Tissue structural and function. Circular components and general connective tissues consist of cells and an extracircular matrix. The extracircular matrix is made up of a ground substance and protein fibers. So, in a more detailed way, all connective tissues apart from blood and lymph consist of three main components. It is cells, ground substance, and fiber. Tissue. Tissue is a group of similar cells specialized for performing a common function. Tissue is the group of cells of same kind. Tissues are very important in our organism life because tissues are formed by tissue and organ system by organs and organism by organ system. So, therefore, if there would be no tissues, then there would be no organism. Tissues are classified into four main categories. Number 1, the epithelial tissue, also called epithelium, is the membranous animal tissue made up of one or more layers of cells closely packed together and serve as covering of internal and external surfaces of the body, including bodily cavities and vessels. It is covered the outside of the body and lines organs and cavities within the body. Number 2 is connective tissues functions, mainly to bend and support other tissues, contains sparsely packed cells scattered throughout an extracircular matrix. Connective tissues are the tissues which connect, separate, and support all the different types of the body organs and part of the body. It's also store fats, helps more nutrients and other substances between tissues and organs, and it helps repair damaged tissues. Connective tissues is made up of cells, fiber, and a gel-like substance.
Hello everyone, I am Dinis Kubalan, member of Group 2, and my assigned topic is about muscle tissue, nervous tissue, and complexity of body size. First, what is muscle tissue? Muscle tissue is composed of cells that have the special ability to shorten or contract in order to produce movement of the body parts. The tissue is highly circular and is well supplied with blood vessels. Pag sinabing muscle tissue, ito daw yung mga gumagawa o nagbibigay ng mga daluyan ng dugo upang makagawa ng paggalaw ang mga bahagi ng katawan. Ang muscle tissue have a different types of muscles. First is skeletal muscle. Ang skeletal muscles ay nakakabit sa mga buto o nagbibigay daan sa paggalaw. Yun ang skeletal muscle. Second is smooth muscles. Ito namang smooth muscles matatagpuan sa iba't ibang panloob na struktura kabilang ang digestive tract, matrix at mga daluyan ng dugo tulad mga arterya. Ang pangatlo is muscle or cardiac muscles. Ang cardiac muscle naman ay ang kalamnan na particular sa puso. Nakaparticular lang sa puso. Pangalawa ang nervous tissue. Nervous tissue is found in the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. It is responsible for coordinating and controlling many body's activities. It stimulates muscle contraction, creating awareness of the environment, and plays a major role in emotion, memory, and reasoning. Ang nervous tissue naman ay matatagpuan sa utak, spinal cord, o nervyoso, responsibly sa pag-coordinate at pag-control sa mga karamihang aktibidad ng katawan. Yun lang. Ano ba to? And also mayroong din types ang nervous tissue. Kabilang na dito ang neuroglia, astrocytes, microglial cells, epidermal cells, satellite cells, and neurons. Yun. And pangatlo is complexity of body. Complexity and body size. Complexity and body size cause of maintaining body temperature at least per gram of body weight. Them is small animals, and energy cost of body weight or over and giving distance less for larger animals. Ang complexity, pag sinabi namang complexity of body size, pag sinabing complexity of body size, ito ay tumutukoy sa height, weight, BMI, waist circumference, waist hip ratio, and print size. Yun lang. Sana naintindihan. Thank you.